Hello everyone, it's Dr. Sam. I'd like to welcome you to my EyeClarity podcast. This is a show that offers cutting-edge information on how to improve your vision and overall wellness through holistic methods. I so appreciate you spending part of your day with me. If you have questions, you can send them to hello@drsamberne.com. Now, to the latest EyeClarity episode. Hey everyone, it's Dr. Sam, and I'd like to welcome you to another EyeClarity podcast. So today I bring you behind the scenes. I did a session with somebody who's got nearsightedness and also something called presbyopia, so reading glasses up close. But he's a bit frustrated with the reading glasses because they're making his eyes worse. And so I unpack his visual situation and we get to the root cause. And then once we get to the root cause, well, now he can transform his vision and he probably won't need his glasses anymore. So I hope you enjoyed the show. Thanks so much for tuning in. All right. So what would be your goals and objectives today?
Getting a little bit of a handle on whether or not and when I should be wearing these glasses and whether or not it is actually making my vision deteriorate, because I kind of feel like it has. And just kind of steps forward to stop what I've noticed to be the diminishment of my vision in the last few months by wearing these glasses more. I don't know if it's causative or correlative or what, but I've noticed a significant change and I'm wanting to kind of halt the change and, hopefully kind of reverse if possible.
You can do that, of course. So is this your first pair of glasses?
Yeah.
It is. Okay. And
Yeah.
what prompted you going to an eye doctor to
Well,
explore that?
it was about, I think it was about this time last year. I was like, okay. So it had been for a few years where what I noticed the most dramatically was if I looked at my phone first thing in the morning, and then, for anywhere from a minute to 4 or 5 minutes, and then I stopped looking at it and I looked in the distance, I'd be like, oh shit, like I can't see anything. It's like fuzzy everywhere. And it was I noticed a dramatic difference between not looking at my phone and going about my business and then looking at my phone and going about my business. And I'm like, and then I would notice my eyes when I worked on screens a lot. I would have trouble focusing on, like the words would get a little blurry on the screen. And then when I looked in the distance, things were a little blurry as well. And that got a little worse, like progressively a little worse over time. I had great vision most of my life. I'm sure you hear this all the time.
It's okay.
And then, one eye is doing one thing and one eye is doing another as well, I've noticed.
Okay.
And so that's why I originally went in, is it just was getting a little bit worse. And I was like, maybe I need something for working on screens and maybe that'll improve things. And so that was kind of the focus when I went in and talked to this guy and worked with him. But I've since moved and I started poking around. I had a friend that was a vision therapist many years ago. And I actually went
Hmm.
to a vision therapy conference that she invited me to. And so I was like,
Hmm.
oh, there is a whole other paradigm of looking at vision. And
Okay.
that's why I sought you out, is because, you have the medical chops, and then you also have it seems like a more kind of outside of the box kind of way of approaching how to ameliorate conditions, and improve
Hmm.
conditions.
Okay. So I want to get a little more clarity on this. I have your file from April 16th where you went to Dr. Christensen, who is a developmental optometrist.
Mhm.
And it looks like he gave you a prescription for, was it for distance or for reading?
For
Um,
screens,
for
for working
screens.
on
Okay.
screens.
All right. So, and you got that prescription. It's single
Yeah.
vision prescription.
Mhm.
And was that the prescription you're referring to that
Yeah.
created this? Okay. Hmm. And so you got this in April 2022. How quickly did you notice your eyes would get worse? Was it pretty immediate or
No,
did
it
you?
wasn't.
Okay.
Because at first I didn't wear them as much. I used them as needed because it was like until recently, some days I'd wake up, my vision's fine. You know,
Okay.
I don't have any issues. I can see very well. Um, but then
Okay.
3 weeks ago, I went to an NBA game. I was in an
Hmm.
arena, and for the first time in my life, I couldn't see clearly, 200 feet away from me. Like it was like, and it was, I was like, it's happening. It was felt very disconcerting. But yeah, I'm sorry, I forgot what your original question was.
No, that's okay. So you didn't get a prescription for distance. You just got
No,
this computer. Okay.
yeah, yeah, I can't see distance with these glasses. I have to take them off to see any sort of distance.
So what do you do for distance? It looks like your right eye has got a little more myopia than your left eye. Do you just go
Yeah,
without glasses in the distance?
yeah,
And you can see and all that?
I can
Okay.
see pretty good. Like right now,
Uh,
I'm looking at my window. I can see pretty well.
hmm.
Like,
Okay.
there's a little blurriness on like a street sign, but it's pretty minimal. It'll get
Okay.
worse
Hmm.
sometimes, but right now it's pretty good. Like it's not bad.
Okay. And then I have another report that's a OCT scan, looks like. And
Hmm.
that was also during the April
Hmm.
exam. Did he say anything about the OCT that doesn't look uh,
He thought it
unusual to
looked
me?
he thought it looked fine too.
Yeah, that's good. All right. So basically, what's happening is you're questioning this prescription because you're noticing a marked deterioration. It's like made your eyes worse, and you want another direction. You want to be able to
Yeah.
regain your eyesight. Okay, we can definitely do that.
Just strategies, like
Hmm. Sure, sure. I'll give you the whole thing. Sure,
okay.
absolutely. So when you went to this vision therapy conference, was this at Pacific University in near Portland, or
It
where
was
did you
in
go?
Oakland. It was in Oakland, and like,
Oakland.
I
Okay.
mean, it was literally like 20 years ago, maybe a little under 20 years
Oh, okay.
ago. So this woman, she's been doing it. She's like always been sort of on the cutting edge of healing. And so she's been doing it professionally for, I don't even know how many years now. She's old. She's much older than me.
Okay.
And she worked closely with Meyer Schneider. I know that.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, Mike Schneider is a wonderful Bates teacher in the western part of San Francisco. I've known him a long
Mhm.
time. So sure. Well, the first thing I would say is that, when you get any prescription from an eye doctor, usually what's happening is they're reinforcing the imbalance that you're coming into the exam with.
Hmm.
So, you're destined to when you wear it, it's going to uh, it's going to weaken your eyes. And what you have going on in your eyes, at least according to the prescription you sent me, is that at distance you're showing about 5 times more myopia than the left eye. Now, that may
Hmm.
not be your experience. And you're also showing a small amount of astigmatism in each eye. Astigmatism means the eye is shaped more like an egg, or, it's twisted in some degree.
Hmm.
And then up close, it's kind of interesting. The doctor in the right eye is giving you some farsightedness, not much, a little bit. But then he doubled the prescription in the left eye. And so it's reinforcing a couple things. When you wear a plus lens, a farsighted prescription, you lose your focusing flexibility. So, like a minus lens tightens up the muscles, and a plus lens makes the muscles low responsive, like they become flaccid. That's why
I
anybody
see.
that wears magnifying lenses, their eyes are going to get worse because they're disconnecting from their eye muscle
Yeah,
resiliency, right?
right. And real quick,
And
like one
go ahead,
question.
sure.
I just want to share something and see if this confirms what you're saying. And I did this morning. I noticed my left eye is way more blurry up close than my right. So that's why he made
Okay.
a stronger prescription on my left than my right. Is that right?
So so it's more blurry on the left side than the right side. Is that what
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
saying?
When I'm reading up close.
Yes.
Okay.
So your right eye, the strength of the right eye is seeing well up close,
Hmm.
and the
Hmm.
strength of the left eye is seeing well at the distance, or
Right.
better in the
Right.
distance.
Okay.
So
Just want to see if
you
we're on the
have
same page.
exactly. Yeah, so optically, what's happening with your brain is you kind of drop out with the right eye at distance, and the left eye is doing more of the work.
Hmm.
And then up close, your right eye is doing more of the reading, and your
Hmm.
left eye drops off. And that's a
Hmm.
lot of magnification to give your left eye
Hmm.
as it relates to your overall situation. You're a bit into what we would call, in the direction of what we call monovision.
Hmm.
So the definition of monovision is the right eye, in this case, is your reading eye, and your left eye is your distance eye. And so any prescriptions you put on over it that try to compensate for that are just going to make things worse,
I see.
right? So this is probably a two-step process, two steps maybe. The first step is what I would do is I would possibly give you some support of some slight magnification up close, but not nearly as much as what you're currently wearing. And I would also take the astigmatism out because I think that's interfering with you. Uh, and the other thing I'm going to say about this monovision setup is when you prescribe similar or the same prescription in different eyes. So if the eyes are different, but you prescribe the same prescription, it's like a vision
Hmm.
exercise, and it would encourage both eyes to start to work together. It's going to move you in a direction of better
Ah,
collaboration.
I
Now,
see.
it's not going to be perfect. So, like
It's not going to be
your left
what?
eye, it's not going to be perfect eyesight
Right.
clarity in the left eye,
Right.
but it's going to be more comfortable, and it's not going to weaken your eyes. So, I'm thinking this. I would send you a prescription that would just be a point five zero in each eye, no astigmatism. And you would use that when you feel you need some support up close. I mean, on your again, what's going on is your right eye is taking over at the reading position.
Right.
And so we need to engage the left eye, but not give it so much magnification and so much astigmatism that it weakens.
It just stops working. Yeah.
So it stops working. And that's part of that's why you're like seeing this drop off. Yeah, exactly. What you're wearing is making it worse. I want to confirm that. I want to
Okay,
validate
thank
that.
you.
You're not crazy. And even this is my beef with, and I'm going on the record here, but this is my beef because I used to be in those organizations with behavioral optometrists, developmental optometrists, but they don't all practice at the same level or have the same level of understanding. And it's why I left the groups because I was going, I can't refer to these people because I was referring to them, but then people would call me up and say, well, they're not doing what you're saying we're
Right.
doing. And I had the good fortune when I was in my early career, I was in the Northeast in Philly.
Hmm.
And there were about five really old developmental behavioral holistic optometrists. And one of them was my actual optometrist. I went to him. I was almost three times the amount of nearsightedness that you are measuring. And I went to him for 6 months and I completely dissolved my myopia.
Wow.
And I haven't worn glasses in 30 years. I see well
Wow.
up close. I see well in the distance. And his name was Dr. Albert A. Shankman, Shankman. He wrote a book called Vision Enhancement Training. And Dr. Shankman, when I met him, he was in his 70s and he was semi retired, but he was teaching young optometrists. And we had a whole class of younger eye doctors like myself. And we went through his vision therapy program, but it was very holistic, it was very whole body, it was very mind body. Dr. Shankman was a yoga teacher and a
Oh,
meditation teacher. So he had
wow.
like a spiritual component to it. And it was the most potent thing I ever did because by dissolving my myopia completely,
Hmm.
I had the courage to leave my practice in Philadelphia and move to New Mexico in the early 1990s. I could have never done that if I was still in my myopia
Right.
prison cell.
Right. Yeah.
And the other thing that happened is I affiliated with a holistic developmental optometrist that was a contemporary of Dr. Shankman. His name is Ellis Edelman, Dr. Edelman. And so I worked with him for 5 years. I became a partner in his practice, but I apprenticed with him. I didn't make a lot of money at that point, but I apprenticed with him and I learned how to manage lenses really well.
Yeah.
And so it was Dr. Edelman, it was Dr. Shankman. There was another old timer I met, Dr. Albert A. Sutton, Sutton. You could Google him. And Dr. Sutton was an expert in, well, developmental problems in children. He practiced in Colorado for many years, and then he moved to Miami Beach, where I met him. And he was a professor at Berry College, and he taught OTs and psychologists how to do vision therapy because he knew that the optometrists couldn't understand what he was saying. He worked with the vestibular system, he worked with
Sure.
mind body, he worked with nutrition, he worked
Yeah.
with primitive reflexes, right? And we affiliated with a group of optometrists in Denmark and Sweden who were way
Ah.
ahead of us.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so we studied their methods. And then there was a meeting in Denmark we would go every year called the Sutton meeting. They honored Dr. Sutton for that. And he passed away, a long time ago. But in any event, the optometrists in Denmark and Sweden get it because
Yeah.
they were doing a lot of holistic things. So it is difficult, even in California, because I was trained in California in vision therapy. In one of my internships, I spent 3 months in a very busy vision therapy office in San Diego.
Mm.
And the doctor's name was Bob Sannett. Dr. Robert Sannett was one of my first mentors. And I was going to stay in California, but I decided I wanted to come back to the East Coast. And I enrolled at a place called the Gesell Institute, where I learned about child development and vision problems as a whole body situation. And
Yeah.
so, bottom line is that I want to give you an upgrade in this whole situation because even though this person is a developmental type person, what I would say is let's do plus 50 in each eye. I'll send you the prescription.
Okay.
You're paying for this appointment, medically licensed, so you can go somewhere in Portland and just get the plus 50s, and you'll like that. That's going to be a nice prescription for you. And the left eye is going to be a little funky. It's going to go, well, I don't have all the magnification I need, but
Yeah.
it'll feel more comfortable and it's not gonna weaken your eyes as much. And also, some other tricks to the trade would be, at least on screen time, make things a little bigger if you want
Okay.
to, the font
Yeah.
on your phone. And so you don't need to wear it all the time, but just wear it part time or wear it some of the time. And
Yeah.
then we'll go into B, which is I'll teach you some vision therapy exercises today, talk to you about nutrition and maybe some other techniques so that you can remove this situation. Because you see, you're nearsighted,
Hmm.
and even though the right eye is more than the left, nearsighted people usually don't need to wear reading glasses
Hmm.
because the nearsighted they became nearsighted because they see well up close.
Hmm. Hmm.
And so that's a lot of magnification for you to be wearing. I would say too much.
Yeah.
And we need to change course here because
Yeah. And
you can
that's what
see
it
where you
felt like. Uh, you know, it felt like a heavy hammer to me. Like,
oh my God, totally. I mean, talk about a heavy hammer. It's just too much for you.
yeah.
So when we're done with our session today, I will email you a medical prescription. It's good anywhere. It's got all my
Okay.
licenses on it, numbers and all that stuff.
Great.
It's be a plus 50. We're taking the astigmatism out because you got to get rid of that. We don't need that. Okay, now part two, there's a couple of different paths that you can take. And what I like to do with people is we're partners in this, partners in crime. Like some things you might say, no, I don't want to do that, or that resonates with me because I have so many tools in my toolbox, and you might say, yeah, okay. So let me give you the landscape of what's possible.
Sure.
One of the techniques that can work really well to help your reading up close, instead of using a magnification lens, is to get yourself a pair of pinhole glasses.
Mhm.
Have you ever heard of them?
I have, yeah. Yeah,
So
I mean, I've done a fair amount of just kind of poking around, looking at
so
alternatives.
yeah, let me just close this window here. In pinhole glasses, I don't know if you can see me. Here we go. Let me sit down again. So these pinhole glasses, if I were to pick up something to read, I
Hmm.
would see things really clearly because it's making me focus through the holes. And when you wear a plus lens, it diffuses your focus. Basically, what it's doing is just giving you bigger size, but the price you pay is you can't bring things into focus anymore.
Right.
So
Because it
yeah,
teaches
so
your muscles to do other things.
well, they're just getting flaccid, and again, the size of things puts your eyes to sleep. Any
Ah,
plus lens creates a
right.
magnification effect. So why bother? Oh, it's easy.
Yeah.
It's so another way, instead of you going for magnifiers, if you want to, which is kind of like an exercise, is to read with the pinhole glasses. It's going to make
Mhm.
your eyes move through these holes to have to see it. You can even move your head a little, like I'm doing,
Yeah.
but going to bring things into focus.
Okay.
So that's a technique. If you don't, so here's the deal. Every prescription in the optometry or ophthalmology world is approved by the FDA. So it's a prescription. It's like a drug, and it's got
Yeah.
side effects. And one of
Yeah.
the side effects of plus lenses and magnification is you're going to weaken your eyes. Your eyes are just going to get weak. That's one of the side effects.
Interesting. They don't say that.
So the pinholes will give you another option if you don't want to, um, even wear the magnifiers.
Now, is that something that you would
Oh,
use while on the computer, while reading, and then you don't wear them otherwise?
exactly. And you
Okay.
can, you, so part of this process, this can be the hard part or the easy part.
Mhm.
You decide. Use your intuition, trust how your body feels with it, and follow that.
Mhm.
So there isn't a hard and fast rule or cookbook, but let's say you put them on and you're at the computer and go, man, I'm working really hard here. I got to
Yeah.
get my work done. Then either make the font bigger or put
Mhm.
on the plus 50s. No
Right.
problem. It's not going to weaken you. Let's say you're on your phone and you're like, I'm going to do some exercise here on my eyes. So, yeah, I like this. It's good. I'm kind of,
Mhm.
it's nice to do. I'm working my eyes out.
Right.
You get to choose how long you want to do it. And so that's the pinhole situation.
Okay.
All right, now next, I think you need to do some work with each eye separately.
Yeah.
There's a couple ways that you could do this. We can be creative here. So, one of the things I learned when I was studying physical eye therapy is a process called hormesis, HOREMESIS. It's really big in the fitness industry. And what it is that when you challenge your body, you actually get stronger. So if you're nearsighted in more so in the right eye, you would patch the left eye and I would probably just go to the drugstore and get the strongest magnification lens you could find. Plus 250, plus 3, and you bring it home and you take a baseline of the right eye with a patch. So you have to buy a patch at the pharmacy. Take a baseline with the right eye, no prescription, and then you put that plus lens on, and you get to go more into your blur. And the practice is for 1 minute, can you relax into the blur? And I'd be curious to know what the belief system is around blur for you. Like, oh, if it's blurry, I could get hurt. I'm going to miss something. I'm afraid. And whatever mentally you start thinking about when you put that heavy blur on and you're looking in the distance, that's probably some of the issues that were happening when you got your first prescription. And you might see some mental hypervigilance going into the right eye saying, I don't like this blur. I'm out of control. I can't resolve anything.
Right.
So what you're doing there is you're desensitizing your mental reaction to blur. And that's what causes your myopia, hypervigilance. And for
Mm.
some reason in the right eye, you chose to make your right eye almost 5 times more nearsighted than the left eye.
That's
Now, I
wild.
have a theory about that.
Mm.
And my theory is that you, like everybody else, went to school and you were asked to perform. You got to read, Quinn. You got to write. You got to get an A. You got whatever it is. And so, because now I'm assuming you're right eye, right-handed, maybe. The right eye connects to the left hemisphere of the brain, which is your rational,
Yep.
analytic.
Yep.
Get it
Yep.
done. Quinn,
Yep.
get it done. This is the
Yep.
doing. So the right eye said, look, I'll just take it all on. I'll be the workhorse
Hmm.
here. And the price I pay is I'll just become
Hmm.
nearsighted.
Hmm. That's really interesting because that that really rings true for me just based on like the onset of it getting worse really coincided with the beginning of this highly stressful, highly technical job where I had to, make 100-page documents and reports, technical reports. Everything had to be perfect, and it was way more screen time than I was used to. I was basically going from a field biologist to going in the office and doing tons of long technical reports with deadlines. So that's very
Okay.
interesting.
Yeah. So, that might line up, but the exercise is going to release that pattern of the right eye having to do it by itself, be
Mhm.
the workhorse. And so when you put on that high magnification lens, it's an exercise lens that's about, can I relax into the blur? So I'm giving you a lot of things here, but when you look through blur, your eye is going to be more receptive to the world and what it sees. It's not going to get hung up on, I got to resolve everything. I got to see the detail. There's a very creative, intuitive aspect to blur. It's softening. And I
Mhm.
want you to find that when you do that exercise over the right eye, and you're going to do it 3 times. So you put it on for a minute, process your resistance or whatever, take it off, do it again, take it off, do it again, take it off. By that third time, your right eye is definitely going to be seeing things more clearly.
Mhm.
And then when you take the patch off the left eye, now the left eye is going to relate to the right eye very differently. And you're going to see more brightness, more clarity.
I see.
Now, with the left eye, this is a little trickier. So you're going to patch the right eye, and because the left eye is now caught in the presbyopia or farsighted world with that plus lens up close,
Mhm.
you're going to take, if you have, I don't know if you even have distance glasses. Do you? Do you have any old distance glasses? You want
No.
to have the left eye look through the minus lens up close.
Hmm.
So when the left eye is in its presbyopia or farsightedness,
Yeah,
and when you get the minus lens, you do the same thing,
I
but
see.
now you're going to be dealing with, on the minus level, it's going to be blurry, but it's going to engage the muscles more. Where on the right side, the plus lens, it's about relaxing the muscles.
Hmm. Right. Whoa. Yeah.
Now, if you don't have an old, any minus lens prescription will work. If you don't have anything, I do sell on my website minus lens to blur because eye doctors won't, they're not going to prescribe.
Right.
Um, right?
Yeah.
So you can get that minus lens. And here's the deal with this. You could work with both eyes in the distance using the plus lens,
Yeah.
and you could use the minus lens with both eyes for the reading distance. So, you could do the plus lens on the left eye, but it would have to be in the distance because it does have a little nearsightedness. And it would be interesting with the right eye because the right eye is the reading eye. To give it the minus lens up close, it's not going to like that.
Yeah. Yeah. And so it's
But
basically, it seems to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, but this is like tricking the eyes or whatever you want to call it into correcting their compensations.
I would say it another way.
Okay.
Say that what we want to do is we want to give each eye a much wider or broader visual experience so that you get to see your subconscious reactions
Hmm.
to blurriness.
I see.
So it isn't so much tricking, but we're offering a wider experience so that you would develop more versatility. So in that hormesis example, we're challenging the the eye in the area that it doesn't want to go.
Okay.
Where you see, if you can have a wider, both emotional, psychological experience around your eyes that has been elicited by looking through a lens that's not habitual, you're going to have to make a problem. You're going to have to solve a problem with that intuitively. This is one of the things with Dr. Shankman that I learned. When you wear, lenses that are outside your normal way of seeing, you can't rationally figure it out. And you're going to be confronted with the subconscious reasons why you've set your eyes up this way.
Mm. Right.
You've adapted to something, and the pattern is what's creating the deterioration. And that guy you went to in California, he did his best, but you need to unpack what you're bringing to him because he's only again reinforcing what he's measuring.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And that's,
And this could change everything for you because you're like a two-headed being.
yeah.
Astrology, they talk about Gemini, it's like two sides. That's you. You
Yeah.
are one person with your right eye and you're another person with your left eye.
Right.
So this goes far beyond, well, my eyesight is deteriorating. Well, good, it
Mhm.
got your attention. So that's one set of exercises that you can, immerse yourself in. I
Mhm.
would do something every day in that kind of interaction because the more you interrupt your habit, the faster you'll see change, the more free you'll become.
Mhm. Mhm. I see.
Now, there's another exercise that you can do with the eye patch called the eye dialogue, where you cover the left eye and you ask the right eye some questions. And I'll send you a kind of a questionnaire that you can ask. And that's gonna give you information on your inner vision. what's behind the eye. It's going to make you more aware of what you're projecting out into the world through your right eye. I call it the inner vision exam. And then you do the same with the left eye. And I bet your right eye and left eye are having a marriage problem. That's
Yeah.
one of the questions I'm going to ask you. Right eye, do you know you're married to the left? And the left, do you know you're married to the right? And so you need to bring that into the light
Hmm.
on the discrepancy between your two eyes. Because,
Hmm.
like I said, your right eye reads and your left eye looks in the distance.
Hmm.
They sleep in separate bedrooms,
Yeah.
So that would be the second thing that you would do. And then the third thing that you would do is introduce an exercise, which I'll send you the link to. It's called the yin yang peripheral vision exercise. It's called yin yang because the first set of images on this piece of paper that I have is two images of a yin yang symbol. And you have to focus with both eyes to make a third yin yang symbol. And when you make that third yin yang symbol, now your left eye is engaging with the right eye simultaneously.
Mhm. Okay.
And so the more you do that kind of exercise, which puts both of your eyes into the same functional sphere, then your left eye is going to help your right eye in the reading, and your right eye is going to help your left eye in the distance. Then you
Hmm.
won't need glasses at all.
Hmm. That's the goal.
So, so yeah, so look, if I can do it, you can do it. I was taught in optometry school you can never improve your vision. That was our first year.
Yeah, Jesus.
Then when I did it, and I went back to the school, they said, "Well, that's nice, kid. It's anecdotal. You're
Right.
on your own."
Right.
They're not invested in that. I mean, in a regular eye doctor's office, you go for an exam every year and they keep make the glasses stronger so they get to sell you more glasses.
Yeah. And it gets worse.
Great
Like
business
people
model.
just, yeah, and people are like, yeah, here's a new prescription
Right.
and a new prescription and a new prescription. And it gets worse and worse and worse. My girlfriend wears contacts all day, every
Yeah,
day,
exactly.
you know, and then she takes them off at night and then she can't see. So,
Have her go a day without her lenses. It'll change her life.
really?
Do it as a do it as a vision retreat detox so there's no demand on her,
Hmm.
and have her track her emotional response to not using them. It needs to be in a kind of a retreat, kind of a,
Sure.
okay, I'm staying home today. But
Yeah.
um, yeah. But for you, I think working with these opposite lens prescriptions to give you more flexibility and versatility and understand mentally what you don't like about blur, because you blurred out that right eye in the distance so you could function better up close. But the left eye didn't do that.
Hmm.
And the left eye is your intuitive eye. It's the bright brain.
Hmm.
Stalled. It's like, oh, I'll see you. I'll do the distance viewing and you do the near viewing. And so you split yourself,
Yeah.
right? So we're going to give you the same lenses in each eye, the plus 50. And then we're going to ask you to do the plus lens to blur and the minus lens to blur
Hmm.
and the eye dialogue and the yin yang chart. Work those for 3 months, and then let's see where you are.
Okay.
Some other things I would make sure you're doing: get enough healthy fats and oils in your body daily.
Yeah.
Whatever that is for you.
What does
Make
that
sure you're
look?
doing the bright.
What
Go
kind of
ahead.
amounts does that look like for you? I've been taking a fish oil. Um,
Okay.
I also eat lots of nuts and seeds. So I feel like that's definitely there. But like,
That sounds covered. Yeah, that's
okay.
Probably 1,500 to 2,000 milligrams a day would be good
Okay.
in that realm. And
Okay.
then just brightly colored vegetables, as best as you can, especially the red, orange, yellow, green.
Yeah.
Berries are good. And, I think take care of your liver because liver and eyes go together from acupuncture.
Hmm.
If you're into craniosacral, you could go get some cranial work that would unwind any astigmatism pattern in the body, if you're so inclined to do that. And
Okay.
yeah, that's basically, just eat well and try not to do too much processed foods and processed sugars and
Yeah.
um, you know, try to get good dental care and take breaks from screens when you can. I mean, in this research, they say you should be getting 10 to 30 minutes of far away gazing, a day to offset the computer focus.
Okay.
Even if it's cloudy where you are, get out into the
Hmm.
sunlight,
Hmm.
especially in the morning. Um, I wouldn't worry too much about the blue light, but you know, again, if you're at least stop if you can doing screens a half hour to an hour before bed.
Okay.
Um, if you want to, with this plus 50, you can get the blue protect on there,
Okay.
but that's kind of up to you. And that's basically it. I mean, for you, it's more functional, psychological. Uh, there's insight here for you about healing something between your right and your left.
Yeah.
That's really what this is about. I mean, I think another thing is the right is probably working much more speedier than the
Hmm.
left.
Hmm.
It's tighter.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's
Probably not going to like that blur as much either.
yeah. And it's funny, this is now that I have a little more perspective on this, it just based on my life, like there really is and always has been a very I'm an interesting combination of very creative and then mixed with a lot of scientific training and work that involves very logical, pragmatic thinking. And so I think that my eyes are kind of like, well, you do this and then I'll do that, and somehow they've divided along the way. And I think, this is just a thought, but when I started going really hard on all of this cognitive work that required a lot of precision, things kind of went south.
Well, you're lucky because you don't really have very much.
Yeah.
Um, you know, I had a similar thing because I was a memorizer,
Mhm.
and I was able to, but my right eye was like a three. Actually both eyes were like a three. So the amount of tension that I created was off the charts.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, do you have any questions about what we're going to do?
Um, no, not really. I mean, it would be nice to have sort of, I imagine you have some like descriptions of the exercises you
Yeah.
recommended that you can send me and
So, what I'm going to do, Quinn, when I send you the recording, I will send you directions to the following:
okay.
minus lens to blur, and my link if you want to order the minus lenses, the
Hmm.
plus lens to blur,
Hmm.
by dialogue, and I'll send you the yin yang chart, and I'll send you the directions. So
Okay,
it'll all be right there for you when you have the recording.
great.
And that way, and I'll send it today.
Okay.
And that way, um, you know, I'm going to share something with you. When I was a patient with Dr. Shankman, I spent probably 15 to 30 minutes every day doing eye therapy. And so the more you devote to this, the more you'll get out of it.
That makes
I mean, it's
sense.
going to be you. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And using the exercises are just prompts for you to understand, oh, this is what's causing this, or this is why I'm still doing this, because you get something from it.
Mhm. Yeah.
But you're also paying a big price, which is why you contacted me, because you don't want this.
Yeah. Exactly. And I feel like there are other solutions that just, I refuse to believe that there's nothing that can be done. Like, I think that's where I'm at. Like,
Oh yeah. I mean, well, that's absurd. I mean, that's coming from, people who, haven't explored out of the box. And, my profession is pretty conventional,
yeah, it
and they're
is.
not they're not really open to these ideas. And it's the way they train the doctors, and it's a common story. It's in every form of medicine, until
Hmm. Hmm.
start breaking through. So good for you for finding me on the internet, and that's why I do what I do, because you know we've th- yeah, we just need to bring more awareness to it. And this isn't for everybody.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And I acknowledge that. I never try to talk anybody into this.
Yeah.
They have to come to me, and they have to be eager to want to do the work, because it's a uphill. You're going to meet with some resistances. You're going to meet with some, like, really?
Hmm.
And I forgot one more thing. I'll send you the prescription also.
Okay, great.
You'll have
Excellent.
that. And you can fill that anywhere, any way you
Good.
want.
Okay.
So, any other questions before we end today?
If questions come up, can I email you?
You sure can.
Okay.
So, when you get the email with the recording and the links to all the exercises and the directions, just respond to that and say, I have a question, and
Mhm.
I'll do my best.
Okay,
To
great,
answer you. Yeah.
great.
Keep a diary or a journal, so you're keeping track of your awarenesses. And basically, it's going to be a self-discovery. You're on a self-discovery vision quest,
Yeah.
and you can't be wrong. Whatever comes up for you. I mean, if you said to me, well, tomorrow I woke up and I had this dream, blah, 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 I'd say, okay. Or, like, you decided to change jobs, or, I mean, there's a lot of kinds of stuff that people go through.
Yeah.
It's all fair play. It's just what you've been storing in your eyeballs, and now it's coming out.
All righty.
Okay. So good luck.
Thank
You're
you.
drinking the Kool-Aid now. You're so welcome. I look forward to your testimonial when you throw your glasses away.
I do too.
I see 2020, and I'll ask you for a testimonial. But until then, do your work, and you'll get results.
All
I
right,
know it.
great. All right,
Okay.
thanks so
Nice to
much. I
meet you.
appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening. I hope you learned something from the EyeClarity podcast show today. If you enjoyed the episode, make sure to subscribe on iTunes or Spotify and leave a review. See you here next time.